Good evening, everybody. Tag, like, share. We're getting ready to have a phenomenal time tonight. Tag, like, and share. Good evening, everybody. Listen, I'm getting the hang of it. Did you like my music? Good evening, everyone. This is Dr. LaQuetta Solomon, and welcome to Elevated Frequency. I want you right now to tag, like, and share. And let me know who's with us tonight. I see that my elevated visionary mentee, Doctor, I'm going to call her Dr. Stephanie Reed, is here tonight. And I want to see some of my YouTube viewers as well. Hi, Ebony. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so excited to be with you all. I feel like I haven't been here in a couple of weeks. I know last night we had a special episode, but I'm used to really honing in and talking about subject matter that really is needed at such a time. If you don't know, July is Minority Mental Health Month. Somebody put that in the chat. Once again, welcome Ebony. Once again, welcome Stephanie. There's a few more people on. And so I want you all not to just be looking from afar, but join in on this conversation. I want you to start liking, tagging your friends, your family, because tonight we're getting ready to really get this popping. We are doing part two of the series we've done in regards to subject matter that is so near and dear to us all. And it's, why do I keep explaining myself, right? And we're going to be talking about when you're tired of proving your heart to people who refuse to see it. Anybody else had to go through something like that? Thank you, Ebony. Thank you, Stephanie. This is what we're going to be talking about. And I want to give you all a recap. Somebody put that in the chat. A recap. We started about 2 weeks ago talking about how we need to heal, right? From over explaining, being defensive, and the need to be validated. And so we journeyed through understanding, how we over explain because, again, we want to be understood, but there's still different levels to that. And so we started to really touch on some areas, oh my goodness, that, talked about, over explaining and feeling like if we say something better, then somebody would finally understand. Yes, one who's committed to misunderstanding, right? And we started talking about different areas of life, right? That really has been affected. And we started talking about emotional invalidation. And then we started talking, about also accountability. We started talking about defensiveness, what happens when everything feels like an attack, right? And we started to define defensiveness. And then addition to that, we started talking, about rejection sensitivity. Oh my goodness, where we begin to feel that it's so important for people to understand us, because if they don't, they will leave us. And that is a part of people pleasing. And so we started talking about rejection sensitivity. And then we ended the night talking about being validated, right? Validation. Somebody put that in the chat. I love you, Stephanie Perkins. Validation. And this is all about being misunderstood. And so I want to pick this up tonight. I want to pick this up so we can end this segment, because there's so many other things I want to get to. I want to talk about the need for us to really take off the superwoman cap, the Superman cap or cape, and begin to live our life. And so if you know somebody would definitely be impacted by what we're talking about tonight, I want you to tag, like, and share. And so I want to pick this up. Woo! And we're talking about why we over-explain, right? But this part 2, we're going to be talking about when they refuse to see your heart. Usually I tell you to go get some water, because we're going to be in for a bumpy ride. So let me tell you right now, go get some water. You're going to need some water. Water helps to really settle yourself down when we're talking about information that is near and dear to our hearts. We need to get water. And I did not get my water. So hold on for a second, because I'm getting ready to get my water, and I would implore you to get some water. Get some water, get some tissues, get it all, because you're going to need it tonight. I got my water. Whoa. Anybody else need to take a big drink of water? Oh, because we're getting ready to hit some bumps in the road tonight, right? And I want you to hang on in here with me for about 35 minutes, and we're going to be off. But I want to give you some tools, because life is lifing. And I believe that these sessions are really helping you to have the practical tools to overcome. I don't want to just talk to you, but I want it to resonate with your spirit. I want it to resonate in your mind, and that you walk away understanding that there's nothing too hard, too difficult for you to overcome, for you to bounce back from. And that is why I am here. I want to help you understand that there is nothing too hard for God. And when you have God on your side, there's nothing you can't do. And so we are going to talk about, why do we keep explaining ourselves, right? That is the topic. Why do I keep explaining my? And they try to give me some likes. I know I'm not the only one who's been through a situation like that. And you're trying to, gain your strength. You're trying to understand. I love you, Amanda. I see you here. And so listen. And like maybe 2 weeks ago, we discovered, right, that over explaining, right, is usually not a communication problem. Now, if I say something that resonates with you, I want you to put it in the chat. It's an emotional one. We found out that over explaining, when we get into the habit of always over explaining ourselves, it usually has nothing to do with you not being able to communicate. Emotional one. And is that many of us, Amanda, many of us, Ebony and Stephanie, we keep explaining because somewhere along the way, we have learned if they understand me, I'll feel safe. Come on, somebody say yes, no, maybe so. Somewhere along the way, we learn that if they believe me, I'll feel worthy. Oh, I see you, Stephanie Perkins. Somewhere along the way, we learn if they approve of me, I'll finally have peace. But tonight we're going to go deeper, because if we could be very honest, that's what we have learned. And that has been what we've called our survival coping mechanism, that if people understood us, then they would create safety for us. That if people believed in you and believed that you were true, that you would feel worthy, that you would belong, that you wouldn't be rejected, that you wouldn't be abandoned, that you wouldn't be betrayed. Am I talking to someone? And somewhere along the line, we begin to believe if people approved of who we are, people approved of who we are, what we are going to become. Oh my goodness, what we have been made of. If people approved of our actions, of our call, of our purpose, of our destiny. Notice I said people, I didn't say God, but this is what happens. This is what we have learned throughout the years. Then we'll finally be at peace. Then we'll finally not be fighting to be accepted. But tonight we got to go deeper. Somebody said go deeper. Somebody tell me, go deeper. I see the like. What happens? I want to ask you a question. What happens when you're explaining yourself and they still don't get it? You do all that over explaining. You do all that trying to be accepted. You do all that trying to get approval. And guess what? What happens when you do all of that? When you've over explained yourself to a point where you're literally tired and they still don't get it. Can I just say this? What if they're committed to misunderstanding you? Let that resonate. What if the people that you are trying, the person you're trying to help understand you, is committed to misunderstanding you? They're committed to misunderstanding you. They don't want to understand you. What happens? And so tonight, we're talking about validation. Tonight, we're going to be talking about emotional flooding and learning tonight that sometimes the most emotionally intelligent thing you can say is nothing at all. And that's hard, because some of us have been in survival mode for so long that all we do is continuously defend ourselves. And so I want to start tonight with validation. Validation is one of the reasons why we're over explaining ourselves. When people are already committed to misunderstanding you. Yes, Ebony, and we're wasting our energy and we're causing ourselves to be sick. And guess what? I need to tell you, validation isn't bad, because we all need healthy validation. We all need healthy validation. Because when we feel validated, that makes us feel that we're being heard, that makes us feel that we're being understood, and that makes us feel that our feelings matter and make sense, right? So validation isn't bad. But let me tell you something. Validation is not agreement. The problem begins when we can't emotionally settle until someone tells us that we're right. Someone tells us that we're a good person. Someone tells us that they were wrong. And that's the problem, that we are in a spiral of trying to over explain ourselves so we can feel complete. We are in a spiral when we're looking for validation from people who don't want to give it to us, who don't have the capacity to understand you, nor do they want to understand you. And we are driving ourselves crazy. We are making ourselves sick trying to get someone just to agree with you, to say that you are right, to agree that you are a good person, to agree that you have purpose. Come on, come on. Oh my goodness. We want to be validated in such a way, oh my goodness, that they actually say that they were wrong. And I want to give you a scripture. Galatians 1:10 says, am I now trying to win the approval of people or of God? And many times we are trying to win the approval of people and not God. And we are wearing ourselves thin, Amanda. We are wearing ourselves thin, Amanda and Stephanie Reed and Stephanie Perkins, because we are trying to win the approval of people who may not want to understand us, who may have made up in their mind that it doesn't matter what we do, it doesn't matter what we say, it doesn't matter how good we prove ourselves to be worthy of their love, how good we prove ourselves to be worthy of their friendship. They don't want it. I know I'm coming hard tonight, but I need you all to understand. And many times, I want you to understand that this type of thinking minimizes your ability to be who God has designed you to be. It minimizes your ability to become, oh my goodness, who you have been ordained to be. And I need you to ask yourself a question. Who has become the audience for your life? Who has become the audience for your life? Who has become the audience for your life? That you're so wrapped up in being validated by people who don't have your best as part of their lives. They don't believe the best from you or of you. And they have become the audience that you are racking your brain with, trying to get them to understand something that they don't. And we have to understand that the only way we will become validated is if we understand the force to be reckoned with we have been created to be, right, Priscilla? And I need you to understand that you understand validation. You will understand that your validation may not necessarily come from people. It's going to have to come from God. When God told you that you were fearfully and wonderfully made, that's the validation that you're going to stand on when all else, oh my goodness, when all else looks bleak, when all else looks black, when all else looks dismal. You're going to have to understand that the reason why you are here, the reason why, oh my goodness, you are still in the land of the living is because there was validity to you. There was validity to you, because validation is the recognition and the acknowledgement that another person's feelings, another person's thoughts or experiences made sense within the context of their experience. And we all want to be acknowledged. We all want to be acknowledged. But let me tell you something about external validation. It can become unhealthy. Because when we cannot emotionally settle until somebody else confirms our worth, our reality, or our decision, it becomes unhealthy. Because what do you do when they don't confirm it? You find yourself feeling as if you're not good enough, if you're not smart enough, that you don't have what it takes. And when I ask you the question, who has become the audience for your life? In other words, who are you performing emotional goodness for? Is it your husband? Is it your children? Is it your mama? Is it your father? Who are you trying to convince of your worth? Whose approval has become so powerful in your life that their misunderstanding can ruin your entire day? Who is it? Who is it? We have a problem here. When someone's lack of validation for your life ruins your whole day, ruins your whole month, that means that you need their approval in order to feel like you're needed, like you're loved, like you have purpose. Is anybody with me tonight? And this is what happened. We need to do some self-evaluation and find out who and whom is at the root of how you feel about yourself. Because if it's anybody outside of God, you are going to be on a seesaw for the rest of your life. Because people's emotions come and go. They're up and down. They're unstable. They may like you one day, they may hate you the next. And if you build your own esteem, if you build your own worth, if you build your own validation on someone else's feeling about you, you will be forever dealing with self-esteem issues. You'll be forever dealing with self-concept issues. You will never feel that you are worthy enough, that you have what it takes. And we have to understand that sometimes when people let us down, we begin to see that letdown as monumental in our life, that we feel without their approval, that we feel without their agreement, we cannot move forward. And that's why so many of us, under the sound of my voice tonight, are stuck. Because your forward motion is connected to someone's agreement. Are y'all with me? And this is why you're still going around the same mountain. You're still on the hamster wheel. Because you have configured your whole being around being accepted by a person or people who don't have a heaven or hell to put you in. Come on, y'all, talk to me. I know it's tight. But we got to go there. We got to understand who we are. I want everybody to ask yourself, who am I? Put it in the chat. Who are you? What makes you tick? Who are you? Because the root of the matter is that we're so concerned with people not seeing our heart. We're so consumed with people refusing to see our heart. And then what happens, Priscilla? We give more explanation. And let me tell you, more explanation will not create understanding when people are really bent on not understanding you. More explanation will not create understanding. So this is why the subtitle is they refuse to see my heart. Because there is actually a difference between someone who does not understand you, right? Yet, and somebody who's committed to misunderstanding you. There is a difference between someone who doesn't understand you yet versus someone who is committed to misunderstanding you. And somebody under the sound of my voice has to understand that you are fighting with someone who is committed to misunderstanding you. Because actually, a person who is seeking to understand you says, help me to understand. A person committed to misunderstanding you has already accused you. Will say, I know why you did it. And even if you explain, they say, no, that's not why. Like they're in your head and they know why you did what you do. And then you start clarifying. And then they say, I know the real you. And then you apologize. And then they say, you're only apologizing because you got caught, right? And then you set a boundary. And then they say, oh, you changed. Oh my goodness. And then God forbid you heal. And then they say, you think you're better than everybody. And at some point, you have to stop submitting evidence to a jury that already reached a verdict. Some point. Are y'all with me? At some point, it will never be good enough. They will continue to misunderstand you, and you can explain until you are green in the face, and still am I talking to somebody? I want to free you tonight. Accept the fact that you have some people in your life that are committed to misunderstanding you. And you got to learn what people in your life want to learn you versus those who are committed to misunderstanding you. And you have to move forward with that knowledge. Stop exasperating yourself, stressing yourself out, letting your blood pressure go high, crying and screaming, you texting novels and chapters, you calling, when you just have to accept that there are some people that are committed to misunderstanding you, and you have to understand that component of who they are. And I don't care what role they play in your life. You may have to restructure the role people play in your life once you determine that you have some people that it doesn't matter what you do, they want to misunderstand you. And then you have to move forward accordingly. Somebody say, move forward accordingly. Am I talking to anybody? Is this making sense? We are talking tonight about why do I keep over-explaining myself when people don't want to understand my heart. I need somebody to say, this is good. This is making sense. I want to free you so you can move forward and reach destiny and reach purpose and not feel confined and not feel bound by those few, because there's more for you than against you. There are more for you in life than against you, and you just got to find your tribe. You got to find your support system and do away with the toxicity that's infiltrating your vision, your purpose, and your destiny. And some of us, we may not be able to do that because they could be family members, but that does not mean you can't move forward accordingly. That does not mean that you have to cut yourself off and isolate yourself. You just have to come to terms with who you're dealing with and move forward accordingly. You got to come to terms with it. You got to get out of denial. Thank you, Ebony. You got to get out of denial. Some of us are in denial because we're trying to say, how do I break bread? How come for many years I've broken bread with you? For many years, we were raised in the same house. For many years, you were in my life. And now I'm realizing that at this point, we're on two different realms here. Y'all with me? We're on two different realms here. I'm realizing that you are committed. You are absolutely committed to misunderstanding me. And it's hurtful. Yes, it's hurtful when you realize that people that you hold dear and near in your life is committed to misunderstanding you. And one lesson I've learned, you will not be able to change their mind. Somebody put that in the chat. You will not be able to change their mind. Notice I said they are committed to misunderstanding you. And when that happens, you will not be able to change their mind. I don't care what you do. When someone is committed to misunderstanding you, there is nothing you will be able to do or say that will be that would change their mind. And now you're going to be in a position where you have to protect your heart. You have to build fences, not defenses, fences, boundaries around yourself. And you determine who comes in and who leaves. I know this is very hard for you all tonight. But I have to tell you, people will refuse to see your heart. And that's no reflection on you. That's no reflection on your goodness, your worthiness. We just have to understand that there's just some people. Yes, Stephanie. That's just what they choose to do. How many of us can say tonight, this is a hard conversation? Because I can feel somebody saying, I just want to show them that I don't mean harm. I mean good. When you realize that that is not the level that they're on, you better adjust and move forward accordingly, or it will wreck, Stephanie Reed, your whole journey towards your destiny. And I need to ask you, what is more important? Your destiny, your journey that's been God-given, or what place people want to keep you in? What is more important? You're going to have to choose. So as we talk about this hard issue that I just addressed with you all tonight, understanding that people are bent on misunderstanding you, many times we look for what we call confirmation bias. Yes, we have to be delivered from people, but it's hard because God did not make us islands of our own. He made us to be helpers to one another, to be complementary. And so when we talk about being delivered from people, Stephanie, we have to understand what that means. Yes, we need to not stand on people's opinion, but we need each other. And you have to be very careful and use discernment and wisdom to know who is an associate, who is a confidant, And you have to determine the difference. Because we are not islands of our own. And if we're not careful, if we don't guard our hearts, we walk around looking for what I call confirmation bias. Oh yeah, I'm teaching y'all tonight. Somebody put that in the chat. Confirmation bias. And confirmation bias is our tendency to search for, to notice, and interpret information in ways that confirm what a person already believes. And many people in our lives have already decided that you're selfish. Many people have already decided that you're arrogant because you're confident. If somebody has decided you're difficult, your disagreement becomes evidence of what they've been looking for all the time. I know you're like, Dr. Solomon, we can't win from losing tonight. Many people misunderstand us because they're looking for the confirmation. And so anything you say or do that aligns with what they feel about you, in their mind, anything you say or do will align with that. So like I said, if somebody has decided you're selfish, your boundaries to them is the evidence they've been looking for. If somebody has already decided you're arrogant, your confidence becomes the evidence they were looking for. If somebody has decided you're difficult, you disagreeing with them becomes the evidence. Y'all with me? If somebody has decided you changed, your growth, your healing, your becoming becomes the evidence that they've been looking for, because they've been looking for confirmation. And their confirmation that they're looking for is biased, because in their mind, they have already determined that this is how you are. And here's the thing. You cannot always explain yourself out of somebody else's biases. You cannot always explain yourself out of somebody else's biases. That's the way they want to think about you. I'm going to take you right to the scripture in Matthew 27, verses 12 and 14. Jesus was being accused, and the chief priests and elders are bringing accusations. And the scripture said he answered nothing. The accusations, he didn't defend himself. He didn't try to explain himself away. He answered nothing. And it said that Pilate, one of the major accusers, he was amazed. Now, let me tell you, Jesus was not silent because he lacked intelligence. And I need you all to get this. He understood that not every accusation requires an explanation. And we have to get ourselves in that realm of thinking. The accusations don't require an explanation. And can I say something? Some of us have been given TED Talks. TED Talks. Some of us have been given sermons to people who did not ask for truth. They asked for ammunition, and you're giving it to them. You're giving them long novels, trying to explain yourself away, and it's just giving them the ammunition to continue to misunderstand you. Are y'all with me? Hello? Hello? Oh, I know this is tight. I know it's tight. You're giving them ammunition. They already have a confirmation bias. This is how they want to see you. Thank you, Stephanie. Stephanie's the only one talking to me. Oh, I know y'all may be taking notes, but I need you to hear me. We got to practice, and I'm learning this, to be silent. And yeah, some people put us in that fight mode. They keep gnawing at you, right? And then you crash out and go to 0 to 1,000. That wasn't emotionally intelligent, because now you gave them more confirmation bias to believe that if you poke the bear once or twice, they're going to let you have it. Stop giving people sermons and TED Talks when they don't want the truth. They just want the ammunition. And how do you discern this? You need to ask yourself this question. Is this person seeking clarity, or is this person seeking control? That's how you know the difference. Because clarity sounds a little different than control. Love you, Lakeisha. Y'all with me? You need to find out before you're over-explaining yourself. Is this person seeking clarity or control? Because control and clarity sounds different. Thank you, Lakeisha. Nobody else wants to talk to me tonight. Clarity sounds like when somebody asks you or says to you, help me understand. Can we talk about what happened? I may have misunderstood. That's somebody that's seeking clarity. But control sounds a little different, Stephanie. Control sounds like, that's not why you did it. Control sounds like, admit it. Control sounds like, I know you better than you think I do. I know you better than you know yourself. Y'all with me? Control feels like, you're going to continue to explain this until I'm satisfied. Thank you, Elder-elect Edna. If you notice a control cycle, and you notice somebody is putting you in a control cycle, you need to learn how to stop that. And you stop it by saying, oh, okay, I've shared my perspective. I understand you see it differently. I don't have anything else to add. We may not agree. I'm not going to continue defending my intentions. And then after you explain that, stop explaining. Because the more you explain, the more you feel that you are out of control. The more you feel shame, the more you feel self-doubt, the more you begin to question who you are. Are y'all with me? And that's what's going on in the mind. That's what's going on in the mind when we're over-explaining ourselves to people who are committed to misunderstanding us. But guess what? Our body also is having an experience. And some of you are saying, that's good. My mind, I'm understanding this. But some of you are saying, why does my body feel like I have to fix it right now? Like, we get impulsive. We're trying to fix it, right? Our body, right? Our body is trying to do something, or listen, you feel like you got to do something. You got to do something. Things are in your hand now. Your body, your hands are doing things. You're trying to literally fix something. You're trying to literally do something that will make people understand you. And that's what we call emotional flooding. Emotional flooding. Let me give you a little example. Have you ever felt an urgency to explain, right? Your heart is beating. Your hands are moving. You're texting fast. You're talking fast. Come on, y'all. You're crying. Have you ever felt this urgency in your body where your literal organs, oh my God, you begin to repeat yourself and you begin to say, I just need you to understand. This is not your inability to communicate. Let me tell you what it is. Your nervous system is flooded now. You done worked your nervous system up. Now your nervous system is flooded. Because your body is feeling like it's in danger. Like you got to get into survival mode. I know I'm not the only one that's been through this. I know there's some ladies, some men listening to me who's peeking and don't want to participate in the chat. Come on, y'all. Y'all tell me where all of a sudden, somebody tells you that they misunderstand you, and all of a sudden your body is responding. Your organs are responding. And this is what happened. It's when, you're emotionally flooded. It's when your intense physiological, meaning your body and your emotional activation, the things that would normally make you calm and flexible and rational. Oh my God, it's difficult to get there. Because why? Your body has detected a threat. And many of us, we've been in situations where we're over-explaining because we feel we're in danger. We're in danger of being isolated. We're being in danger of being rejected, alienated. We're in danger of being afraid or fearful of someone leaving us, especially if you have unresolved trauma, unprocessed trauma, situations, normal conversations, oh my goodness, will make you respond in ways where you're trying to create a safe space in your mind, in your emotions. And so you're now over explaining because you don't want to feel the intensity of that betrayal no more. You don't want to feel the intensity of feeling lonely and feeling misunderstood. Anybody with me here? And now your body has detected this threat. Fight, flight, freeze, fawn. And guess what? For some over-explainers, this response is fawn. You begin to people please. You begin to say, if I can get you to understand me, if I can get you to calm down, if I can make you happy, then I'll feel safe. And this is what it is. We lack the safety psychologically. And so that's why we're over explaining ourselves. We're looking for people to make us feel safe in our mind. We're looking for people to make us feel safe in our emotion. And so we will do whatever. We will do whatever. We will say whatever to convince whoever's in your life to make you feel safe. Not physically, but emotionally, but mentally. And sometimes you don't need another explanation. You need to be regulated. Somebody put in the chat, Lord, regulate my mind and my emotions. I need somebody to put it in there. Lord, regulate my mind and my emotions. Yes. Yes, Edna. You have to address it. You have to address it. And the way you address it is sometimes, as I said earlier, Stephanie, like Jesus did when the accusations said nothing. Said nothing. Because remember, when people are hell-bent on misunderstanding you, there's nothing you will say or do that will make them understand you if they want to misunderstand you. I hear you, Stephanie Reed. I hear you, Lakeisha. I hear you, Edna, elder elect. I hear you, Tanisha. I hear you, Stephanie. And I want to give you a tool. Here is the tool. 3 parts. Stop, settle, and select. Stop, settle, and select. For some of us, when I'm telling you to stop, That means before you go off an impulse, don't send that text. Don't send that email. Put the phone down. Don't call back. Do not send a one more thing. Anybody else been guilty? When you thumb thugging and you say, and one more thing. You think about it. Come on, y'all. Don't leave me out here. And one more thing. And another thing. And another thing. Or you call back, hello? And I just thought about this. Come on, y'all. Don't leave me out here. Thank you, Stephanie Reed. Only got one person keeping it real. You already got the text and the email written out, and you got the nerve to have a timestamp on it. So when you sleep, they get it. Oh, don't tell me I ain't in the house. Confirmation. What is it called again when they want to misunderstand you? It's just they want to misunderstand you, but then they look for confirmation in what they feel you are. So everything you do, they look for it. Confirmation bias. They feel you're arrogant. You walk and you smile. There she goes. She arrogant. They feel you argumentative, so they pick an argument. We need to learn how to stop. We need to learn how to stop being so impulsive. We got to understand what emotional intelligence is. God gave us our emotions, but sometimes we don't operate intellectually with them. We got a get back spirit. Anybody else got a get back spirit? Help me, Jesus. Let me drink some water. Because when somebody wound you hard, and let me tell you, it ain't in just your genes, your bloodline that give you a get back spirit. It's part of our survival instinct that we were created with for danger. But then we see everything as danger when there is no danger, because we ain't healed. And so I want to give you these tools before we get off the line. First, you got to stop. You got to stop. Stop yourself. When you know somebody has pissed you off and you ready, you better stop. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Because your impulsivity may lead you to an action that you cannot take back. Y'all with me? So after you stop yourself, refrain, pause for a moment. And then I'm going to tell you to settle down. Settle yourself down. Get your body back in alignment. Take deep breaths. Focus yourself. Put both feet on the floor. Somebody need to do this right now. Relax your jaw. Relax your frown. Drop your shoulders. Pray. Y'all didn't want to hear that. Pray. Pray. Walk. Get that negative energy out. You got to give your body time to recognize that you are not in immediate danger. Because the reason why we go off impulse is because when somebody says something or does something, we go into survival mode and we're ready to defend ourselves over things that may not even require this physiological response, because your whole body gets ready for defense. Your heart rate starts to go up higher. The brain that, part of the brain that's responsible for rational thinking, the blood don't flow there. The blood flows into the area where you got to be ready to respond quickly. Have you ever heard of when people get so frightened or angry that they have so much adrenaline that they can literally lift up a car? That's for real. That's for real. That's for real. So you got to learn how to control your body's responses when your mind is still somewhere else. You got to learn how to bring yourself in. Somebody say, bring myself in. And you got to tell yourself, I'm not in immediate danger. And then select. Ask yourself this question, and I want somebody to put it in the chat. What would the emotionally regulated version of me say? Before you respond, ask yourself, what would the emotionally regulated version of me say? And the reason why I said to ask yourself, what would the emotionally regulated version of you say? Because I don't want to hear from the rejected you. You don't want the rejected you talking. You don't want the scarred you responding. You don't want the wounded you showing up. Not little girl you, not little boy you that's trying to prove that you didn't do anything wrong. Not the angry you. Not the ashamed you. Y'all with me? I don't see nobody saying in the chat, what would the emotionally regulated version of you say? I want you to ask yourself, what would the emotionally regulated, not the betrayed you, not the rejected you, not the abandoned you, the emotionally regulated you, what would the emotionally regulated you say? Before you respond. And then you respond. We're messing up friendships. We're messing up relationships. We're messing up employment because we don't know how to handle ourselves. And the last thing I want to talk to you about is something that y'all don't even want to hear. I need somebody to put in the chat silence. Just the word silence. Just the word silence. Because silence can be you using your emotions intelligently. And this is where Proverbs 17:28 comes alive. And I want y'all to make sure you remember this particular scripture. Proverbs 17:28. It says, even a fool is counted wise. Even a fool, because we got some fools, right? But this scripture says, even a fool is counted wise when he holds his peace. Ooh, Lord, y'all, I'm learning this. I need somebody to put that in the chat. Even a fool is counted wise when he holds his peace. And this is in quite contradiction to what many of us believe, because we believe if we don't respond, the other person's going to win. We believe if we don't correct them, the other person going to win. We believe if we don't defend ourselves, the other person would win. But I want to ask you a question. Somebody say, ask me a question. We almost done. Ask me a question, because I'm bringing on some heavy hitters next week. Y'all ready for the question? Somebody say, ask me a question. I'm going to ask it anyway. Who told you peace was losing? Where did you pick that up at? Peace. Your peace is losing because you hold your peace? Who told you that? Who told you peace was losing? Who told you that? As my spiritual father would say, where do they do that at? I love you, Dr. K. Love you so much. Who told you peace was losing? Silence is not always weakness. Sometimes silence is wisdom. Sometimes silence is regulation. Sometimes silence is a boundary. Sometimes silence is acceptance. And sometimes silence says, I have nothing else to prove. All this chatting, you still fighting for validation. You still fighting for acceptance. Them long thumb thugging text messages. But when you silent, sometimes it says, I have nothing else to prove. We have to learn to exhibit emotional restraint. Because emotional restraint is really the ability, and we all have it. We all have the tools. All of us were born with the tools. We have to understand that we have to uncover them. We are all born with the tools we need to navigate life. I love you. We have to learn how to practice emotional restraint, because that is our God-given ability to manage the impulse to immediately react. We call that in our world the amygdala hijacking, where the blood flow goes from the rational thinking, it's done, and you go right to a response. That's why when somebody slap you, the first thing you slap back real quick. That we call that the emotional hijacking. I need somebody to put in the chat, I refuse to allow my amygdala to hijack me. I know y'all trying to figure out how do you spell amygdala. I got you. I refuse to allow my amygdala. Y'all act like y'all don't have no control. This is your body. God has given you dominion over your body. Your brain should not be controlling you. Your emotions should not be controlling you. You should have authority over it. Come on. You have authority. He's given you the authority. You tell your mind you got to line up. I'm casting down every imagination that exalts itself against the knowledge of God. God, I'm casting it down. I'm casting every thought that's not aligning up with my destiny, my purpose, God's desire for me. We got to practice emotional restraint. We got to learn how to stop being so needy and get healed. It's time for us to get healed. It's just time. It's just time for us to get healed. How long? How long do you want to be between two opinions? Unhealed and healed. Which road you gonna choose? How long? Are you going to complain about the things that happen to you and not be proactive to get your healing? We got to start to intentionally choose responses that align with your values and your long-term well-being. And when you restrain yourself, you're not suppressing, you're just putting back. Suppression is when you pack it down. And that's dangerous because you start imploding. Suppression is when you numb yourself and you don't feel anything. But restraint says, I feel this thing, and Lord knows I want to respond. But my feeling does not get to choose my behavior. That's the difference. That's emotional intelligence. When your feeling does not get to choose your behavior. Somebody put, get out your feelings. Get out of your feelings so you can manage them. You can't manage your feelings when you're in your feelings. You got to get out your feelings to manage your feelings. Or your feelings will manage you. I'm all for feelings. But we so engorged with our feelings that we can't manage them. We're super engorged with our feelings. We use our feelings to make long-term decisions, and that ain't what God planned. Where's your wisdom? Where's your discernment? And I know we're ending this segment on over-explaining because we have to stop this. It's killing you. It's killing you. Sometimes silence. I remember I used to watch what was the comedian? He'd be like, silence, silence. Y'all know who I'm talking about. But sometimes we need to be silent. And let me tell you how this is something God is requiring for some of us tonight. I'm reminded of Ecclesiastes 3:7, and it says, there is a time to keep silence and a time to speak. Your overall goal is not to to become silent and never speak up. The goal is to become discerning. Discerning. You begin to question, do I speak? Do I speak later? Do I speak once? Or have I already said enough? And many of you all have already said enough. And guess what? I told you when we started this, people are just committed to misunderstanding you, Dr. York, sis. It ain't nothing you can say that's going to change their mind. And then you go away from the conversation feeling defeated, feeling misunderstood, feeling misaligned, feeling not good enough. Because someone is choosing not to understand you. You don't got the problem, they got the problem. When they're committed to misunderstanding you, we're not on the same team. You looking for a reason to frustrate my spirit. And at this age and stage in life, I can't do it. I got too much at stake. Somebody say, I got too much at stake. I can't afford this. So we got to part ways. We got to part ways. We're getting ready to end this. But I want everybody watching YouTube, Facebook, I want you to put this in the chat. I have said enough. Just put it in the chat. I have said enough. Tonight was, why do I keep explaining when people are refusing to hear my heart? Come on, somebody put it in the chat. I have said enough. It's hard for some of y'all to say that because you're so used to just over explaining and still leaving misunderstood. Let me hear you. Thank you, Dr. Sis York. I've said enough. Elder-elect, I have said enough. Come on, y'all. Come on. This is our declaration before we get out of here. We gotta put this in our spirit. We gotta make this declaration tonight that you have said enough. Thank you, Dr. Stephanie Reed. Come on, come on. Come on. Y'all, some of y'all are teeter-tottering because you're still trying to justify your over-explaining. I've said enough. I'm telling you tonight, you said enough. It ain't changing. I need one more person to declare, I have said enough. I've said enough. And you have said enough, not because you're angry, not because you're bitter, not because you don't care, but because you are learning. You are learning. You're learning. You're learning that you can communicate without convincing people. You can clarify without chasing people for their approval of you and how you feel. And you can apologize without begging. You have to understand that you can receive feedback without collapsing because you have exerted all of your energy trying to prove to somebody who does not want to believe you. And you can be misunderstood, and it's okay, because in this life you are going to be misunderstood. And just because you're misunderstood, you don't have to abandon yourself. You can let God know your heart without making everybody else agree with it. And that's the most important thing. And as I close, I want to say to you, maybe the freedom you need tonight is not another conversation with somebody. Maybe you don't need to send another novel through text, through Instagram, not another paragraph. Maybe you don't even need to call them back. Maybe you don't even need to post a subliminal message. Hello? Maybe you don't even need to gather 8 people to tell your side again. Just maybe, you have communicated. Maybe you have apologized. Maybe you really have clarified. Maybe you've told the truth, and maybe you have said enough. I know it hurts. Trust me, I know it hurts. I know it hurts when people misunderstand you. And it hurts more when it's family. It hurts more when it's somebody you loved. I know. I've been there. I know. Dry your eyes. It hurts when you say to someone, you should know my heart. You should know me. But people can only see you through the lens they are willing to examine. They can only see you. through the lens that they're willing to examine. And you cannot spend your entire life, not another day, not another night, not another month, not another week, cleaning everybody else's lens so they can see your true intent. At some point, you have to live. At some point, you have to heal. At some point, you have to sleep. And at some point, you have to stop replaying the conversation. And at some point, you have to release. You have to release the need to be everybody's understood version of you. At some point, if you're going to move forward to the next dimension, if you're going to walk in your purpose, if you're going to walk in God's plan for your life, if you are going to walk in the destiny that was predestined for you before the earth was framed, you're going to have to release the need to be everybody's understood version of you. That is not your purpose, to be everybody's understood version of you. You are God's masterpiece, not theirs. You don't walk to the beat of their drum. You walk to the beat of your author and finisher, your God, your Abba Father, the reason why you're still here. You are responsible for your communication. You're responsible for your integrity. You're responsible, y'all, for your healing. It happened. You can't go back in time, but you are responsible now for your healing. And you are responsible for your response. But you are not, hear me, you are not responsible for forcing somebody to see a heart they have already decided to ignore. And that's a truth that's difficult for you. Maybe tonight, your next level of emotional intelligence is not learning what else to say. There's no way you can say it any clearer, any better. Maybe tonight, you've learned when to stop talking. Maybe your healing sentence is, I know what I meant. I've examined my heart. When one of these resonate with you and we're about to get off, put it in the chat. I've taken accountability for my part. I've communicated clearly, and I'm releasing the rest. Find your affirmation. Maybe your healing sentence tonight is, I know what I meant. I've examined my heart. I've taken accountability for my part. I've communicated clearly, or I am releasing the rest. Because guess what? You do not have to keep proving what God already knows about your heart. You don't have to keep proving that. So I pray tonight that you release the need to be understood by everyone. And I pray that you continue to communicate clearly without fear and without chasing validation. I pray that you will receive correction without losing your identity. And I pray that you will recognize when fear is making you over-explain, when feeling unneeded or unwanted or rejected or abandoned is making you over explain. And I pray you stop defending yourself against accusations that were never made. I pray that you regulate before you respond, and you know when to speak, you know when to be silent, and you choose peace over proving your worth, proving yourself, what you were trying to communicate. I pray that you see clarity over convincing, and that you use wisdom over reaction. Remember, I have said enough. I want to leave you with that tonight. You have said enough. You have said enough. You have done enough. Now go live your life. Live your God-given purpose without the shadow of yesterday, the shadow of your past and people, of how they try to put you in a box. Live outside the box. This has been phenomenal tonight. I thank each and every one of you all. Please go back and listen. You will have some nuggets. And we are here every Tuesday at 7:30, Elevated Frequency with Dr. LaQuetta Solomon, where we elevate to be able to silence the noise and get on the frequency that will keep us moving forward. I hope this blessed you tonight. If you want to be a blessing, feel free. But I want to see you on the other side of this. And thank you for listening to part 2 and the ending of Why Do I Keep Explaining Myself? When people are in the position of not wanting to hear my heart. I love you, Dr. York. Listen, this is Minority Mental Health Month. We're going to be in for a treat next week. Come on, and I'll see you soon. I love you all. God bless. Remember, you've said enough.